It all came down to a single drop, a minuscule speck of biological matter, no bigger than a pinhead, left behind on a cotton pillowcase. At first glance, it seemed almost insignificant, easily overlooked in the chaos of a violent crime scene. But sometimes the smallest details hold the greatest power, waiting patiently to reveal their secrets. For nearly 3 decades, that tiny clue held the secret to a brutal crime that haunted Miami. It sat, sealed away in an evidence bag, as the world outside changed and memories faded. Yet, inside that vial, the truth remained, untouched by time. It waited, silent, for science to catch up and finally give it a voice. As forensic technology advanced, hope flickered back to life, promising that even the oldest mysteries could be solved. In the world of cold cases, the smallest things tell the biggest stories. A single fiber, a partial print, or a drop of blood can change everything, rewriting the past in ways no one could have predicted. The year was 1997. Miami, neon lights, deep shadows, and on a sweltering July morning, a life violently extinguished. The city pulsed with energy, but beneath the surface, darkness lingered, waiting to be uncovered. The killer left no fingerprints, no weapon, no witnesses. It was as if he had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only questions and heartbreak. He vanished into the city, a ghost among millions. The investigation stalled and the case grew cold, buried beneath the weight of unsolved files. For 28 years, he was just that, a phantom in a cold case file. Detectives came and went, but the mystery endured, refusing to be forgotten. But he made one microscopic mistake. That single drop, invisible to the naked eye, would become the thread that unraveled everything. This case is a stark reminder. Time may pass, but evidence remains. The truth can wait, hidden in plain sight, until someone is ready to find it. It's about detectives who refuse to let a case die, and the power of technology to uncover the truth. Persistence and innovation can bring justice, even after decades of silence. For Evelyn Martinez's family, it was a long, agonizing wait for answers. Every year that passed brought more pain, but also a glimmer of hope that someday, the truth would emerge. And it all began in a modest Miami motel, where a terrible secret waited for someone to turn the key, and finally, let the light in. The Sun and Sand Motel wasn't glamorous, just a no-frills stop for travelers or those seeking anonymity. Its faded sign flickered in the twilight, a beacon for the lost and the weary, the kind of place where stories began and ended quietly, unnoticed by the world outside. On July 25, 1997, a housekeeper knocked on room 214. No answer. The hallway was silent, the air thick with the scent of cleaning supplies and old carpet. She hesitated, then knocked again, her knuckles echoing down the empty corridor. She entered, expecting an empty room. Instead, she found a nightmare. The shock froze her in place, her breath caught in her throat as she tried to process what she was seeing. The room was still, curtains drawn, air heavy. Dust motes floated in the slanting light, and the silence was suffocating. On the bed, Evelyn Martinez, 34, clearly the victim of violence. Her presence was haunting, a life ended in a place meant only for passing through. The scene was chaos, lamp knocked over, sheets torn, a silent testament to her final moments. The struggle was evident, every overturned object telling a piece of the story. The housekeeper ran to call police. The long wait for justice began. In those first frantic minutes, hope and fear mingled in the air. Evelyn was a mother, a daughter, a friend. Her life cut short, her family shattered. The news would ripple outward, breaking hearts and changing lives forever. She'd been working as a freelance paralegal, trying to build a better life. She dreamed of stability, of giving her son a future brighter than her own past. Detectives arrived, securing the scene, knowing this was no ordinary case. The gravity of what had happened was clear from the moment they stepped inside. The crime felt calculated, the room eerily devoid of clues. Whoever did this had taken great care to cover their tracks, leaving behind only questions. The killer had scrubbed his identity, leaving only tragedy behind. Every surface wiped, every trace of evidence nearly erased. How did Evelyn end up in room 214? Who was the man with her? The questions would linger for years, haunting detectives and family alike. The investigation began, but the answers were nowhere in sight. In the quiet aftermath, the motel stood as a silent witness, holding secrets that refused to be uncovered. The first 48 hours of a homicide investigation are critical. Detectives canvassed the motel, interviewed staff and guests, and combed through room 214 for evidence. Forensics dusted for prints, collected bedding, carpet fibers, anything that might hold a clue. But the prints were smudged or belonged to staff. The killer had been careful, likely wearing gloves. The motel clerk recalled Evelyn checking in with a man. Average build, baseball cap, paid in cash, fake name. Detectives chased every lead, checked phone records, spoke to friends and family, but every path led to a dead end. The man in the baseball cap vanished into Miami. No witnesses, no cameras, no forensic evidence pointing to a suspect. The case stalled, frustration mounting as the trail went cold. Weeks turned to months. The investigation stalled, leads dried up. The case file was shelved with other unsolved homicides, never forgotten but no longer a priority. Miami changed. The Sun and Sand Motel was torn down, replaced by new buildings. Detectives retired or moved on. The evidence, pillowcase, fibers, prints, was stored away, silent. For Evelyn's family, time brought no comfort, just birthdays and holidays marked by loss. The case was reviewed periodically, but nothing new emerged. The evidence was insufficient, descriptions too vague, no motive to narrow suspects. For 28 years the case was frozen in time, a ghost story in the department. But deep in storage, that tiny drop of biological material waited. Technology advanced, but the secret remained sealed. It seemed the killer would get away with it, but the evidence was still there, waiting for its moment. In 2023, Miami-Dade police launched a new cold case unit, blending seasoned detectives with cutting-edge forensic science. Detective Miles Corbin took on the 1997 Martinez case, reading through the old reports. The original detectives had done everything possible with 90s technology, but Corbin had something new: advanced DNA testing and forensic genetic genealogy. He spotted a note: possible biological material on pillowcase. In 1997 the sample was too small and degraded for a DNA profile. Now, new techniques could extract a profile from even the tiniest sample. Corbin requested the evidence be retested. It was a long shot. After decades the sample could be useless. But for Evelyn's family, hope returned, mixed with fear of disappointment. All they could do was wait as science went to work. The case was about to get its second chance. In the forensic lab, a technician carefully opened the evidence bag containing the pillowcase, untouched for 28 years. Using advanced extraction, the team focused on the faint stain. Weeks later, Detective Corbin got the call. They'd extracted a full, viable male DNA profile. For the first time in decades, they had a piece of the killer. The profile was run through CODIS. No hits. The killer had never been arrested for a felony. In the past, that would have been the end. But now Corbin turned to forensic genetic genealogy, uploading the DNA to public databases to find relatives. By building family trees from distant cousin matches, genealogists could narrow down the suspect. The DNA was finally telling its story, leading investigators closer to a name. The genetic genealogist began building a family tree from the killer's DNA, starting with distant relatives in public databases. Using records and documents, they pieced together connections, tracing lines forward to find a male who fit the profile. The list narrowed to 3 brothers, one deceased, one with an alibi, and one Robert Garcia. Garcia, now 65, had lived in Miami in 1997, working as a handyman. He had no serious criminal record, just an ordinary guy on paper. Detectives needed a direct DNA sample. They set up surveillance, waiting for an opportunity. Garcia visited a coffee shop, tossed his cup in the trash. Detectives retrieved it and sent it to the lab. The saliva on the rim was all they needed. The lab worked quickly to test the sample. The final piece of the puzzle was in motion. Justice was within reach. The call came. DNA from the coffee cup matched the pillowcase. After 28 years, they had him, Robert Garcia. For Detective Corbin and his team, it was the culmination of relentless work and the power of science. The ghost from the Sun and Sand Motel finally had a name. Detectives drove to Garcia's home. He answered the door, confused, until Corbin mentioned the Miami Motel in 1997. The past caught up with him. He was arrested without incident. For Evelyn's family, the news was overwhelming, tears of relief and gratitude. Justice, once impossible, was finally within reach. The story made headlines, a testament to hope and the advances in forensic technology. Confronted with irrefutable DNA evidence, Garcia confessed. He admitted to meeting Evelyn, an argument escalating to violence. He thought he'd gotten away with it. He was wrong. The case was officially closed. Evelyn's family could finally begin to heal. The city of Miami saw justice served, even after decades. The smallest clue had brought a killer to justice. Solving Evelyn Martinez's murder was more than closing a file. It restored her name and story. For decades, her memory lingered in the halls of the police station, a silent reminder of justice delayed. Each year that passed, her family wondered if anyone still cared, if the truth would ever come to light. For 28 long years, she was just a cold case number, tucked away in a box, her life reduced to paperwork and unanswered questions. Now, she was Evelyn again, a mother, a sister, remembered with truth. Her loved ones could finally speak her name with a sense of peace, knowing her story was heard. Robert Garcia was sentenced to life in prison. The courtroom echoed with the weight of years lost and the relief of long-awaited justice. The verdict didn't erase the pain, but it brought finality. For Evelyn's family, it was a moment of closure, a chance to begin healing. This case symbolized the intersection of old-fashioned police work and futuristic science. It was a testament to persistence, teamwork, and the power of never giving up. The original detectives preserved evidence they couldn't have known would one day solve the crime. Their careful work became the foundation for a breakthrough decades later. A new generation armed with genetic genealogy carried the baton across the finish line. They brought fresh eyes, new technology, and relentless determination. Justice is a relay, not a sprint. Each person played a part, passing knowledge and hope forward. The case inspired law enforcement to revisit other cold cases, searching for overlooked clues. It sparked a renewed sense of purpose in the pursuit of truth. The ripple effect brought hope to families still waiting for answers. Each solved case is a beacon for those still searching. Evelyn's story is a reminder. Behind every cold case is a human being, a family, a community. Their lives are forever changed by the search for justice. Science keeps evolving, and detectives never stop working. The tools may change, but the mission remains the same. What other secrets are waiting to be uncovered? How many more stories are waiting for their ending? The answers are out there, and we'll be there to bring you the story, every step of the way.